Okay, I am literally so hungry right now. I am gonna try and bang this out as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible so we can all go about doing other things with our day. So last week I did a bit of a UX audit on my homepage and made a little change, which I can report is already showing signs of improvement. I'm getting a lot more people actually staying on my homepage and clicking through to other pages because I moved the shop carousel to above the fold. And now today I'm going to be showing you guys what you should include in your single post template on your WordPress Elementor type website, although really all these elements should be in your single post template regardless of where your website's hosted and regardless of what you use to design it, but this will help you have a template that you can sort of base yourself off. Here I've got an example blog post in my website. So this up here, anything above these clicky bits and this purple line is actually part of my menu and my header, so it is not actually part of the single post template. You'll see I've got a banner photo here. This actually doesn't fill the entire span of my current screen, and you can make it so it just completely fills it, but I like to make sure I can control the dimensions, and I honestly don't mind having the empty space there sometimes. Then I've got a title, which is the blog post title. I've got my name, which is the author name, and the date that it was published. You can set this to change to the date that it was last edited, but I like having it on the published date. These things here are called breadcrumbs. So if you are on the blog post specifically, this is the blog post title, and then you can send it back to the blog page and back to the home page. So if people have gone on a bit of a deep dive and they don't know how to get back to the original category they were on, then this is a way of finding that. My table of contents allows people to jump to different areas in the blog post if they only want to see a specific section of it, and I find that this is good for especially long blog posts where people might get bored and there's a risk of people stopping scrolling before they actually get to the meat of what they're interested in. They all anchor down to the heading of the relevant place. Then we have the blog post content. So this will actually all be written up in something like here, where you're actually working in base WordPress and not in Elementor. This is where the blog post content is generated, and then it will all be held within this square. So if I actually switch to editing my single post blog template, it swapped out the example post here because we're using a random pulled one, but you can see that within this section and this column, I have the post content, and everything within here that has a picture, a link. The other one had a little box of, oh, which should we click on next? Popular post, which is actually this block. All these blocks were input in the WordPress post builder. So then you would have to use all the relevant blocks here. And you can't make that part of the Elementor single post template because it's blog post content. But then outside of the post content and everything in this column, we also have a sidebar that I've created. This is a typical search bar. So I have the search bar up on my menu here for people who are just on any page of the website, but specifically I'm offering another search bar for people who may be further down and not really noticed it. A little about this blog, and this is for people who land on your blog post from Google search, for example. They might not have any idea who you are. They didn't come to your website with a specific plan in mind. They are looking to actually find out about this topic that you have made a post about, so they don't know what website they've landed on and whether it's worth sticking around to look at other stuff. Also, when you've got nice little extra calls to action, like join our email list, get people coming back in any different way possible, that's nice. These are share on social buttons, so this isn't to follow me on social media, this is to actually share the post on a relevant social media platform. So if I click this, then it'll automatically generate a post to share the blog post on Facebook. This here looks like a big empty section. What it actually is a HTML block, and this is something that I've pasted in so I get a set of Google ads because I have AdSense on my website. Then I have a block here which is a product from my shop. It's the latest product is the most visible one. I've been considering if I'm going to put this into 3 different rows actually, because I did have it on 3 columns previously, but it just displayed the pictures really messily and it was overlapping in a way that I couldn't fix. This works well for a really long blog post, so I might actually keep this the same. I'm going to publish that. And I feel like that'll be much better. There is the risk that if you have a really short blog post, then I'm going to end up with the sidebar being longer than the post content, which aesthetically you really don't want, but it's not the end of the world. And then I have another sticky ad, which is a more visual one as opposed to a row and row and row of different ads. Then outside of this whole blog post section, this appears as the comments section. You've got these buttons here which allow people to scroll between other blog posts that you have. So these are good for linking off the page and keeping people clicking through for similar topics, but then they can also leave a comment. I require people to be logged in to leave comments only because it leaves a massive amount of spam, but it's a great way of getting user engagement and encouraging people to create an account, which maybe then you can track them for abandoned baskets in the future, which is not necessarily the reason we have it. We want people to just leave their thoughts and engage with the content, but it's always nice and allows them to have discussions there. And then this is technically feeding into my footer, which is down here, but I make it so you can have a nice little transition, and this is a page divider. And ready to take your marketing to the next level? Contact us. Just they've got to the very bottom of the page. You want to give people different calls to actions at any point. You don't know what calls to actions are going to resonate with them, so you need to give them multiple opportunities and multiple touch points. There's stuff relating to the individual piece of content, go watch the video, share the video. Then there's stuff relating to me as a unit of find out what we're all about, get our deals and stuff, buy our products, buy our services, engage with the content. And then if all else fails, then these ads are set to, ideally, depending on the cookies they choose, pick the most interesting thing relating to the viewer, and they will hopefully click that and I get some pennies of ad revenue. So if you find yourself looking at a very blank blog post and thinking, God, there's just nothing going on this page, why is this so boring, why does this feel empty, then maybe consider adding a bit more of that stuff. The way you structure it will determine if it looks noisy or messy or oversaturated, or if it actually provides a nice user journey for your reader. Good luck. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe.